Adoption of the agenda for the March 5th, 2024 Castlegar District Recreation Committee meeting be adopted. As circulated.
Seconded.
Any changes? No? All in favor?
Yeah.
Receive the minutes, the February 22nd, 2024 Castlegar District Recreation Commission minutes have been received. All in favor? Any changes, additions?
Should ask that before we voted.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Seconder, I thought you were gonna be seconder, sorry.
No, you said all in favor.
I know, seconder. Delegation. That took not even a minute, that's how exciting it is.
Treatment session won't make it in time.
Yeah, so welcome Jen Papa.
Yes, thank you.
So we'll let you
Sure.
talk, and then, just so you know, at this meeting, we don't make any decisions. We
Okay.
take it back to our next meeting,
Sure,
which
that's
would
great.
be in April.
Yeah, we're on to the break here pretty quick and then Easter and all of the fun stuff, so, my name is Jen Popoff. I have a grade 12 student graduating. I am the vice chair, Sasha is our president of the Parent Grad Executive. We're kind of in a limbo this year because we don't have a parent grad or teacher liaison this year, so we're really flying by the seat of our pants. So, but we're good. Thank you all for inviting me for being here. We really appreciate it. A group of parents do volunteer their time to sit on the parent executive board. We have a treasurer, secretary, fundraising, and then we also have a wonderful group of parents that volunteer all the time. We have had a very busy school year since September. This Big Suns, which was for the community, the grads raised like $4,500 to give to the food bank as well as food on top of that. And
So you started your meeting already?
Yes.
10:50.
okay, thank you. We were trying to.
10-4.
I was trying to find how many the dry floor arena held because but the sign had disappeared. She had sent something.
Yeah.
That was what she was asking for me. Because we were trying to figure out what the Selkirk gym and this arena, the difference in size for when we have cap and gown.
You do have to make sure chairs,
Yes.
the mounted chair, I think is only 700, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We have tickets for that too. So the Spook Suns, it was great being back on the island. It was not a fundraiser for the grads, but a huge undertaking for them. As they did all the decorations, the props, and all of their activities. And it was a great way to give for them back to the community. They also were selling the poinsettias and the Christmas wreaths and flowers, providing different safe rides throughout the community and businesses, yeah. And a bottle drive over the month of January. We did hold the grad banquet dinner here in February. It was a huge success. The kids had such a good time. And we appreciate that. So we do have still a lot of more fundraisings planned. 2 bingo nights with huge support from the community for prizes and partnering with the Chances Casino. A few more safe rides evenings. There was a RCMP ball that's coming in April, so that's a huge fundraiser as well. We're still gonna do spring flowers, a car wash, and a mini golf weekend. So there's still lots of, and even with all of our hard work and countless endless hours from the grads and the parents, we're anticipating a really expensive weekend for safe grads. SH will be holding the cap and gown here as well, so we actually have 4 days booked for the dry floor at $1,000 a day. The Selkirk Gym College apparently is doing their floors the exact same weekend as cap and gown. So I'm not sure, but yeah, so we were just trying to figure out the capacity size and the floor versus the college and just the extra support that the families and the extra friends and families and community, like my son's lacrosse team showed up the year he graded for his pro league. It was amazing for him to look out and see his whole team there. And that was the support in the community experience that was great. And they couldn't come to his cap and gown because there just wasn't enough space. And I don't know if they would be able to, but we are holding the parade as well. We're gonna go from Millennium up to here and just the support that the kids see as they're driving through town. It's such an amazing experience. Like when my son saw his team, his whole face lit up. And just that support. And it could be anybody, it could be the neighbors who couldn't come but have watched their kids grow up. So we are asking for a little bit of help, either in the way of a donation or a discount or a grant possibly. With the dry floor grad, or the dry floor for the grad, the cap and gown, the grand march, we are looking at $1,000 a day. And even with all of our fundraising, we weren't anticipating that. We are working a huge amount. We are, and it's just, so we were hoping to either get a discount or in some form or shape, either a donation, a discount or a grant. So I'm not sure how that all works.
You wanna,
Yeah.
are you done, Jen?
Oh,
Can we just ask,
Sure,
or do you have some done?
I just had like a little breakdown of what we've already raised and what we're projecting to
Sure.
still.
Yeah, do that and then.
Okay, like for safe grads, we've raised over $6,000, just about $6,500. That didn't include the ladies gone through. Poinsettias was about $7,000. Bottles so far has been $1,200. We're projecting for the 2 bingo nights about $5,000. More of the safe rides, I believe there are donations, so we're kind of guessing about another $2,000. And then we're hoping for spring flowers and to be about $4,000. And mini golf, we were hoping for like $14,000 because it's at somebody's house and it's.
Did you say 14,000?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do mini golf.
We have 140 slots, 10 minutes apart. It's like a full 2.5 days, like, yeah, it's a huge undertaking as far as I'm concerned, and the man spearheading it is like, ew, let's go. I'm like, ooh, it's a lot of work, so, but yes, that's all I have, and I'm not sure how this part works, I don't know.
So we'll talk.
Yeah, and I didn't know until just now when I talked to Jennifer at the front desk of the breakdown of the rooms, we just had a grand total, and I'm like, wow. It's expensive.
So
Yeah.
we'll go for questions now. I'm sure
Sure.
some of us have
Yeah.
questions.
I will try my very best.
Hanny has, and then Maria.
So you've done it at Selkirk College in the past, right?
Cap and gown, yes, and that is
Just the cap and gown.
just cap and gown, and previous to that, we were actually outside. So
Oh,
when my son
how
graduated,
brave.
it was a little wet 2 years ago, it was really wet, like the girls were drenched, their
Oh.
dresses were ruined. We were out in the rain, it was not, that was for the Grand March. Last year, I believe with the no cement in here, we actually, SH had to do it at the cultural center to ensure space. But that was a tricky challenge as well, because like we went to feed the kids and we couldn't have meat and they could only have veggies and they could only have this and they could only have that. And then the space was smaller for the Grand March and stuff, and that's what so the school is hosting the cap and gown evening.
Okay,
But because we're doing it at the same space, we have to have it decorated and we have to have it ready. And the lights and the sounds, that's what else I forgot to put in here. The lights and the sounds for cap and gown and Grand March is actually a lot of them. I believe Selkirk is donating us the big black curtains, which apparently the complex, they magically went missing or lost, they're no longer here, so we are borrowing them from Selkirk for that weekend, so.
so I'm just trying to understand what the increase is between last year and this year, like.
I don't have that breakdown from last year.
We were asked last year, were we?
We weren't here at all.
No, I know, but as a rec commission, we weren't asked to give money.
Oh,
Huh?
I said I could probably answer some of it, 'cause my daughter graduated.
oh, okay, I was
could
thinking,
probably
I was
answer
thinking
some.
it looked familiar,
Yeah,
no,
So
it's okay, cause I was.
I and J,
Yeah, so-
gave some money, I don't know.
So we'll let Maria, and then Andy, your hand is up, is that you? Okay, so Maria, then you, okay?
Yes,
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah.
It looks really
Yeah, I do have a few questions. I would assume, first question, do you know what Selkirk was gonna charge you for the one day?
Because the cap and gown was not us. Like
Okay.
as a parent grad exec.
Okay, who took on the cap and gown?
That's the actual school, so that would be Mr. Cooper.
Okay, and so the school this year is going to also take on the cost?
They
of
are
the cap?
taking cap and gown, so that's one day.
Okay, so the 1,000 of one day.
Yeah.
But because of it, okay, yeah, expenses wise, yeah, I would assume a few things. Berlin Cultural Center would be substantially lower in cost for rental than the complex is. It was extremely squishy and we had very limited seats. Like we could only bring a few of our family members to actually be, because there's no extra seating. And it was very hot. It was not ideal at all. It's a great location for certain things. It was not. It was not
Did she
doable.
have to be
Yeah.
downstairs?
Well,
But
the grads had to be downstairs.
way back in the day, when I
Oh.
graduated, we did all of it here.
Oh,
So we did cap and gown here and went right in through dry grad, we did all of it here. So it was, for years, and it made it quite easy actually, because
Yeah.
you didn't have to move anything.
Well, that's-
Everyone knew where they were supposed to be,
yeah,
everything was,
That's our saving grace right now, is we're going, we can decorate for one space.
Yeah.
And then we are holding some in the banquet room, like we're feeding them and just having a space for them to be, but making sure that they're fed in between the parade, the cap and, or the grand march. I don't believe there's anything in there for the Friday. I believe it's just cap and gown.
it used to be what it was just cap and gown.
Yeah.
So a couple questions for you,
Okay.
as far as your dry grad. I wasn't on the grad executive last year, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion, but I do, so I'm gonna say it. No, it was disappointing how little they did for dry grad. I would say, like, quite disappointing.
Okay.
So is your dry grad like going back to the old where you're doing a full dry grad after
No, I believe they're
or is
not.
it just grand
It's-
march and?
It's to keep them safe during our space that we have them for the parade, the cap and, like for during those events.
So just the grand, you're just doing the grand march and then some kind of like small dance after, is that
I
kind of
believe
the-
that's how it is.
Oh, it's still disappointing. Yeah, Giselle, they used to have an all-nighter.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we had the complex, because you're maximizing your amount of money you're
Yes.
spending anyway to have it.
yes.
We had the all-nighter, we brought in all of the games and all this stuff. It was
Okay,
so
interesting.
much.
I grew up on the coast,
So
so
much
this
fun.
is all new to me. This is,
so much.
like-
Maybe
yeah.
I'll bring it back. On my free time. It's here or there. So I'm assuming just the rental of the of Selkirk College and Brilliant would probably be a big
I believe it
difference
was a difference,
in rental
yes,
space.
yes.
But as far as the rest of it, sounds like it's pretty similar to what you guys are putting on.
Probably, like I say, my son's was way different because we were on the tail end of COVID, so it was like way
Yeah,
different,
sure.
like.
Yeah.
The first year I helped out as a grade 11 parent,
Yeah.
we were at inside the Duke of War Museum outside in their courtyard, but there was no parents, it was all live streamed, so then.
Because it's during COVID.
It was during COVID, so then when my grad did graduate as a grade 12, we were outside of the museum, but we had it all fenced and we could have people, but it was very limited as well. You'd only have like 4 of us for Grand March and stuff.
So what is the bulk of your expenses going towards? If it's not, because if you said about 14,000 what you're projecting to raise, I believe, or that was just one fundraiser?
That was
the
just the
That
one
was just the
fundraiser.
goal.
Which I also would like to know where you're getting a mini golf course from, like, why are they not opening permanently in town? That's what I would like to know.
Because it's on his property. He actually, it's up.
Yeah.
We'll send you the post office email address. It'll be posted, because there's only so many spots.
Yeah.
I guess he's done it in the past.
So fun. So what is the bulk, because I was doing
So,
the math in
like-
my head and I wrote anyways.
It's like, we have the extra liability, this is Sasha,
Okay.
sorry, no, it's all good, we were on the ball this morning, or this
Okay, you can
afternoon.
sit
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
I
You
just
come
want
on,
to
yes,
Oh, it's Sasha. So in insurance is the extra liability, the lights and sound, full cap and gown and grand march, tickets and pamphlets, and the food for the grads, decorations, swag bags, and the photographer. So like we ballparked it like $30,000.
How much?
30,000.
I know you didn't want to say it too loud.
I know, I just about cried, like that's worth more than my car. But it's
worth more than all of my cars.
I know, but that is ultimately what, like even our one day of banquet for the kids to be there for 4 hours was $6,500. Like it's sadly, it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Thank you.
It's
Andy,
one
you can go
time
ahead,
thing.
Andy.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Hey, Jenna.
Hi.
So, good to see you. So basically, I was involved in the full-blown dry grad as Wayne Naka was the principal at that time, wrote me in for about 3 years, I guess, or 4 years for the all-nighter. And it was quite the event, that's for
Yeah.
sure. I guess I have a couple of questions, not so much to Jenna, but to staff. So our policy at the complex is that we don't waive rental or discount rental for anyone. Is that correct?
I can answer that, Chair, through the chair. Yeah, staff follow the fees and charges policy set out by the board and the rates established every year.
Yeah, so knowing that, I kind of, I have provided grants for many events at the complex to offset the rental.
Okay,
And so I would be willing as an area I director to provide $1,000 community development grant to help offset the rental at the complex, at least for one portion of it. So I think that's kind of the way we need to do this because we have never waived rental for anyone in accordance with RDCK policy. And so discounting or paying, or waiving rent is probably a non-starter, and staff just confirmed that. But like I said, we have provided, I know Area I and J have provided grants to offset rental. We did Family Day, Area I and J paid for that.
Wonderful.
And, pardon?
wonderful, that was amazing, thank you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm willing to do to help out. I really value the dry grad. I'm a teacher. I have done this when my kids were there, and basically I think it's really important. And for that reason, that's why I'm willing to commit to $1,000 to support whatever activities you're doing to help offset if you're renting this facility or wherever it can be applied. But that's what I'd be willing to do.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you very much. Henny has a question, and then I just thought, you have thoughts?
I don't have feelings. I agree with Andy that a grant is the way
Okay.
to go, and I'm certainly prepared to help out with that.
Wonderful,
What I'd like is more of an ask, based on what you need.
Okay.
Instead of saying, oh yeah, well, I'll meet the $1,000
Okay.
and beat it by whatever.
okay, I can get a breakdown for you.
Yeah, just, if you go to the RDCK website, you
Yeah.
can apply for a discretionary grant.
Okay,
Say what it's for, how much you need,
okay,
and yeah,
okay, wonderful, I can do that.
agree that's the
this
way to
evening.
go.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Just a couple of questions.
So, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
can I go
Yeah,
ahead?
go ahead.
Yeah, so basically what I would need, Jenna, for the Area I grant is if you just send me an email, I think you have my
Yeah.
email, david@rdck.bc.ca, just requesting the grant, whatever budget you have,
Okay.
right? Once you have a budget laid out, that will help. And then, like I said, regardless of what the cost is, I'm willing to commit $1,000 because I know there's no end to this cost. Like it gets really expensive.
It does.
And yeah, and it's so then when you send me that, what I do is I review that, and then I send you an email confirming support for your activity. And then I copy the grants coordinator who will send you the link to the digital document where you can submit the application.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
you're good, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Just a couple of questions, so,
Sure.
the City of Castlegar, we have a donation policy as well, and I believe you have somebody that is on your grad, is a grad parent this year that may work at the City of Castlegar, and she can help you
Yes.
fill that
Yes.
out. But
Yeah,
that has to
she's
be-
helping me with the parade. She's making sure my ducks are in a row.
That has to be in by end of March, because that's our first quarter of the year, and then in April we'll decide, so please submit something on that part. But I did have staff here look up, so you guys are renting for 4 days, for the
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yes,
So in the past, the cap and gown, because I was president of Grad twice, so I'm
Okay.
very well aware of this, all expenses have to be paid by school district.
yes, that
So,
one is, so
yeah.
that's 1 day out.
Yeah, so why are you guys doing the Wednesday? Cause that's a full day, that's $1,000, and then you rent at Selkirk Room as well. So if it cap and gown's on the Friday.
We rented the banquet room for 3 days,
Yeah, so,
Thursday to decorate,
yeah, so,
um,
but you also did, yeah, so you don't need the whole, I'm trying to help you save money here.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah, yeah,
we just weren't sure what we were gonna need. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the complex, and at the time, I would have rather had the day booked and kind of not needed it, instead of like, oh no, we're down to the crunch and we don't have enough time, because it's been years since something has been here, and none of us really know what's going on, all of this is new to us.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe offline, I could help you guys a little bit with this, because, yeah, Thursday you have Selkirk, and then you have Selkirk, Monashee, and Purcell on Friday and Saturday, all those rooms.
Thursday we have soccer,
Mm-hmm, yeah,
I never booked soccer.
yeah, so
We'll
it's
have
on
to-
that,
These are
yeah.
details that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I can help
these are
you.
little details, yeah, I only
can
just got
connect
the
with you
breakdown.
after,
Yeah.
just to help
Yeah.
you, and staff was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, then, yes, please.
Yeah, we're here to help.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're here to help,
Yeah, and like,
some of us, you have had grads, yeah, and so we can help you guys a little bit too. Just,
Yeah.
because it
and
is very
then we're
expensive.
100% sure on what we as parents were supposed to do versus the arena people. Like what
Yeah,
we're
so the
allowed
arena-
to do and what they're allowed to do, so that's kind of why we picked an extra day, only because like if we were putting up chairs and we were putting up this and
Yeah,
putting
so
up
they do all
that,
the chairs, they'll do the stage,
That's
like they
someone's
do,
job,
yeah,
but we weren't sure.
yeah.
yeah.
Cause
So
last year we were doing it at the cultural center, so I.
Yeah,
Oh.
like we were moving benches.
There's
were
no
doing a lot.
collective agreement in
Yes.
the cultural center.
Yeah,
You guys have
so
your
we
numbers
just
on
wanted to make sure that we had our ducks in a row
Yeah.
and that we needed the,
So if you guys wanna leave a number, maybe Sasha, I can just touch base with you
Yeah.
tomorrow or whatever, and we'll help you, I'll help you. Yeah, cause it is overwhelming
yes.
when you've never did it before.
Yes, and like I say, my son was outside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and the
really,
staff here will help
Yeah.
you with your questions and all of that.
Yeah.
too. Everyone's here
They've
to
been
help.
really good.
mhm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have, and
really
like
good.
Jen, that's why Jen poked her head in the door and said a number, because we
Yeah.
were trying to find the fire number.
Yeah, cause
When
it
we got
hasn't,
here.
it hasn't been here for 5 years,
Yeah.
right? Cause of
Yeah.
COVID and then everything else.
Yeah, Cap and Gown hasn't been here for
Ever, like.
a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it did
And
used to.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, like,
Yeah.
it was always here, the whole thing.
So we have 3 good things.
Yes,
Area I,
Yeah.
Area J, and then City of Castlegar as well.
perfect.
Thank you
So
very
that's how
much.
we can kind of help you guys out
Wonderful.
and we'll go from there. And then if you wanna just leave your number, you have a piece of paper and then I'll touch it.
And give it to her.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
she's good.
yeah, and then we'll just touch base
So you
tomorrow.
have a parent business card?
I don't want one.
You'll be a pro by the next time.
No.
So thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, you
And
guys.
thank you, and we'll get it all budgeted up and printed up and.
Yeah, just
How many grads is it this year, Sasha? Since apparently the chair can't see me.
Oh, did you?
It's going like this.
We're 109.
109, wow.
I was
Yeah.
given a list of 113, and it kind of changes every now and then, so
Yeah.
right now the
Well,
numbers
you
are
can always
100
count
and
on 4 or 5 that might miss an assignment,
Yeah.
right?
I figured anywhere between 100 and 113 is what we're gonna have.
Well, good luck, eh, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's still half than what I had when we graduated here, and we made it work, so.
Mm-hmm.
good job.
Awesome.
There was almost 350 in my grad class.
Yeah.
There's people I've never seen before in my life crossing that stage. I'm like,
Yeah.
Where did you graduate from?
in Penticton,
Oh,
there was only one high school, right?
yeah,
And
that was on the coast too.
3 buildings and,
I was saying, where did you
Yeah.
grow up?
Mission,
Richmond.
yeah.
There was supposed to be
How many
250
of us
in
there
mine
were?
that was here.
I just didn't grow up, Kenny.
Okay,
Huh?
I didn't grow
I
up,
think
so.
that's something.
so thank you for coming and, we'll be in touch. And
Thank
we're
you.
just gonna go on with our meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome to stay. No, seriously, you're welcome to stay. Very, very.
Thank you,
Sasha. Roll.
Can I just get Sasha?
Have a great day.
See ya.
Thanks. Staff reports, the 2024 draft operational budget options report. Joe, hello?
Through the chair, can you hear me?
Yeah.
This one was easier to read.
Sorry, I had to log off of my computer because I'm having some kind of technical issue here. So I'm just on my phone. I do have the report in front of me. Would you like Craig or someone to share it on the screen as we go through? Or do you have it in front of you?
How about if you share it too? Sharing's good.
We have.
Like, are you okay to do that?
Yeah, and then we have an observer on, so they might wanna see it as well.
It's part of the agenda package, Joe.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, Chair, I'm just pulling it up. Share.
I guess I was the only one that wasn't interested in reducing service levels.
All right.
Joe, is that where you wanna go, Joe?
Yep, it's good. So, through the chair, so we'll start off. Maybe Trish, if we could maybe mute the microphone in the room, picking up a lot of the paper wrestling. Yeah, and then when there's a question, if you guys just can unmute, that'd be great. Sorry. So the report is similar to the one that we presented last week. We have presented a few options, but some of the numbers have changed slightly. Both requisition amounts are a little bit less than what they were before. Nothing that's a tremendous significant difference. The other piece that we added with the update last night was the impact per 100,000 of house value. We just used 100,000. We know there's no such thing, but we use that as an easy multiplier so that we can talk about whatever number may be the most appropriate number in each of the communities. So I'll just start at the top. So the capital budget we went through last meeting, that part is approved. I just kept in here, updated the report to what was actually approved at the meeting, which was for S222, was the $1.145 million of capital work. None of that. So there's $700,000 of that is funded by requisition, $100,000 of that, which is an increase over 2023. And that is as per the asset management strategy. Just one moment, I forgot to close my word. The next piece is the operational budget increase. So this is where you can start seeing how the differences are. So the One of the primary differences in overall budget increase here, of course, is that 100,000. The operational budget increase is actually larger than the 100,000, but it actually is an 8.92 increase over last year. And there's a couple of pieces that are primary for this. One is, of course, the increased employee cost, and that in S222, that's not related to aquatics because that's not part of this service. But there is a regional wage review that was done for instructors, which actually we just finished up today, and the 6.2% increase. There is a 9.17% increase for general admin, information tech, and community services fee. The community services fee in this case, in this budget in S222, also includes funding for regional parks. So because it includes funding for regional parks, there's actually two particular increases in that fee based upon board recommendations. One is from 2023, and that was the beginning of bylaw enforcement, having bylaw enforcement support. So in 2023, the board approved the hiring of one new bylaw enforcement officer, 50% of which is paid for by community services. And so last year in 2023, that was only partial funding, just because of when that approval took place. So there wasn't a full 50% funding last year. That's full 50% funding this year. And the other piece was just a couple of weeks ago, the board approved one seasonal regional parks employee being moved to full-time all year round. So it's not a new employee, it's just an increase in hours. Is there any questions up to that point on salaries and the general admin fees? Sorry, someone will just have to pull us off mute just to let me know.
No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One other area of increase this year is a $40,000 increase over 2023 consulting fees. So it doesn't mean 40,000 in total. It means $40,000 increase over what the budget was last year. So again, the majority of this funding increase is for the reimagining Castlegar and district recreation, the process that we're about to start. Well, we've started, but we're about to start the engagement with the public. $42,000 increase over 2,000 for repairs and maintenance and operating supplies. Some of the projects in this area include the Pass Creek water system, skate park repairs, and improvements at Waterloo Eddy. So part of these are bundled inside repairs and maintenance, but some of those also could be funded from Community Works, and there is that part of the evaluation in the detailed financial analysis. There is $103,000 decrease in revenue from surplus and user fees. So that's made up of a $39,000 decrease in projected revenue. Primarily, of course, that is from the
Joe, just for a second. Somebody's joined by a phone. Can we mute that phone? How do we
Are you able to mute that phone?
So,
Are you able?
Pearl, Pearl, are you logged in as the host?
No,
Who's the host?
host is CMS.
Ask them to leave their phone.
Just
Can
one moment.
Can the person that joined with the phone by last two digits 16 mute their phone? Please?
Who was the first one to sign in? Were you the first one to sign in?
I signed it over here. Yeah, I'm not supposed to sign it over here because it causes a bunch of echo.
Yeah. So
Right,
then that should be able to mute when you see the participants.
I can try this to sign in. and see if it
Are
works.
you able to do it today?
So, Patricia,
I think I got it.
yeah, perfect. I was going to tell you that.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So the 39,000 is a decrease in projected revenue. So it's from two places. The Pioneer being less, of course, Pioneer, as of the weekend, actually is, not in operation. And room rentals, which we are seeing a general trend down in. The bigger piece is a decrease in the operational surplus from 2023 versus 2022. So that isn't an indication of anything other than the service really operated more at its normal operational level last year. So there are a number of different things in the surplus. So it's made up of two numbers, approximately $46,000 in operational surplus. And I do just want to note that in this budget, there is $52,000 in grants that is still budgeted for here. That money was actually expended in 2022 and 2023, and that's from the disaster financial assistance work that was done at Pass Creek. So Henny, that is work that was done to stop erosion around the banks close to where the soccer fields were. So that was funding that we received there. Disaster financial assistance has quite the process in order to receive that funding. We actually just received confirmation yesterday that we will get it. We actually have to prove not only that we paid the invoice, but the check was actually cashed. And so that's a quite a bit of a more onerous process than most normal grants. So that will take place this year. So we will have that funding coming into the service. So that's a general overview of S222. Are there any questions, Andy, online? And I can't see you. And from the room.
Joe, I have a question.
Yes.
What is happening at the Pass Creek water system?
Oh, the Pass Creek water system. We've been having problems with the well there. Terry is a little bit more familiar with that. He's not able to join us tonight. But we have to do well upgrades for it to meet IHA standards. So last year, I don't know if everyone was aware, but we were having times where the well wasn't keeping up. Craig, and I'm going to describe this wrong, but essentially the pump was not able to lift the water out of the well. And so the pump was actually shutting off. And what we found when we were doing that investigation, I believe, is that, and just please allow this to be corrected later if I have this slightly wrong, but that there's some backflow prevention that needs to be added in.
Okay, thank you. Andy, do you have a question?
I have a couple of motions to make, and I'm just wondering when the chair will allow those motions to be made.
Why don't we get through the next service and we can have a discussion and then you can bring it up then. How about that?
Thank
Does that
you.
work? Yeah.
Yep.
So in S227, the increase is 354,000. This is the one where there is the most dramatic increase. But what's important to note is that the operational budget increase is 8.59%. So like the primary thing that is driving the increase in S227 is the surplus. But I want to just jump, I think from here, if there's not anything specific to this part of the report, the detailed analysis probably speaks to this a little bit better. And if I could go there, if that's all right with the chair and the commission. Okay, I see a thumbs up.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
All right, so there's a highlighted part that's yellow. Don't really want to talk about that right now, but that just went a little too far, Craig. It's just the detailed analysis. And you'll see a highlighted part that should be a highlighted part. You've got the old report up. Sorry. So, excuse me. So what I tried to do in both services was identify places where either there could be saving or there could be alternate funding. So in S222, it was really primarily around three projects that are in there. As we know, community works can be used for recreational and park projects. And so I could really scope those pieces out to make those eligible for community work. So I'm not doing that to put pressure on anyone to fund those from community works. I just did that so that you had that knowledge in order to make a decision.
Chair, I have a question.
Question?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Joe, for that. That's where I kind of wanted to go. I still believe, as I have stated at our last meeting, that this is the year where we should, if we can, apply and provide some community works funds to support our facility. And that would also help reduce taxation. So the question I have to staff is that what amount of community works fund do you believe is appropriate and to which service? And that'll determine what motion I will make.
You know, through the chair, I think what I can do as staff is identify those projects that are community works eligible.
Yes.
And then I think if that really, the use of community works funds in the regional district, it's not done at a strategic regional district planning level. It's really done at a per area level. So I don't know that I should be commenting on that because.
Okay, so just what amount then of projects have you identified that our community works qualifies?
Yeah, so in S222, correct, Andy, through the chairs. So in S222, it's about $55,000 of community works. Now, of course, there's the projects at the complex and in S22, and the capital projects are also eligible, but those pieces aren't necessarily being funded by community works or needing community works funding. I thought that the one place where you don't get into changing what your strategy is for funding those projects are those projects in parks. And so those are kind of the other pieces is that they're one-off projects specifically for a year. So that are additions to the requisition right now.
Okay, so that's 55,000 in S222. Is there anything in S227 that would meet that same criteria?
So S227, not particularly, because those projects right now that we have in S227 are all funded through reserve. So you would be replacing reserve with community works.
Okay, so that helps me then with the motion that I'd like to make.
But can we just wait? There's a couple questions here. Andy?
Yes.
Okay. Kenny and then Maria. Brian, did you have your hand up?
So I just want to clarify the 20,000 Pass Creek water system upgrades, that's for the Pass Creek Park, which is in Area J, right? And then,
Through the chair, that is correct.
yeah, and so then Waterloo, Addie, and Robson Wharf repairs, those are also in Area J, and I take it the skate park, because I'm not actually a skateboarder, is the park that's right here, right?
Correct.
Okay, Yeah, I mean, it looks like the lion's share of this is in area J. And, yeah, I'm just saying that because it's kind of glaringly
Yeah.
obvious to me.
Yeah,
And the city doesn't have, community works, funds. So, that's okay, I'm okay. I just wanted us all to be clear about where the majority of this work lies. And I think that might mean that it's my community works grant money that'll be used to pay for it.
Was it, Maria, are you done?
I think I'm
Okay, Maria, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question, then I have a comment. So Joe, the 15,000 for the skate park repairs, is that including the ongoing maintenance that we've been requesting? Like, I don't want to take out ongoing maintenance that needs to go in our budget every year for the skate park. If it's a one-off cost, but from what I understood is we were putting in money that was going to be ongoing maintenance every year. So do you know, is that whole amount, or is that like, we're just paying it for this year and then we're still gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do it next year?
Through the chair, the 15,000 should be, it should cover, the remedial repairs that were identified last year. And then for future years, we will identify an amount for the skate park.
Okay, yeah, I have a bit of concern about that one, just because I wanna make sure that we're integrating like an actual repair amount for an asset that we have into our yearly operations. And so by pulling it out for community works funds for 1 year, doesn't do that, is a concern for me. The other concern I have, and I'm not gonna tell those who have community works funds what you can do, just my concern was that around this table, we had a lot of conversation about making sure that we were just using our rec budget to fund whatever we were doing, so that it didn't get into this back and forth in future years of, well, I paid for this and you paid for that, and because it often, yes, you're right, Henny, 2 of those are in your area, but next year it could be 2 in area I, or it could be something in the city, and as for the city, we don't have the same flexibility with that as you guys do, and so I have concern just fundamentally about like it turning into something where it becomes like some of our parties feel like it's been unfair, just because we don't have that same flexibility. So that would be my only concern, but again, I'm not gonna make a hard line for the commissioners that get to choose what to do with their money, but I just wanted to say it, that's my concern by using your guys' community works fund, is that I don't want it to feel like, because this year it happens to be in your area, or next year it happens to be in Andy's, and then when it happens to be in the city's area, we don't have that. So I don't want it to feel like that in the future, so that would be my only concern.
So I have Henny, Brian, myself, and then you, Andy, okay?
Okay, I just, so believe it or not, I get a lot of comments about the Waterloo Eddy. And I'm just wondering, when you say Waterloo Eddy development, like wharf repairs, I understand what that is, and water system upgrades, I understand what that is. I don't know what developments, please tell me it's not more boulders.
I have to apologize because I've been kicked off the RDCK website. I can't look at the details right now. Craig, I'm not sure if you're able to, but there is a description of those projects.
Through the chair, I apologize, I don't have those details right now.
Okay.
But I believe it's actually starting, it wasn't more, I don't remember it being more boulders. I remember it actually being some development work, and maybe even the possibility of some amenity, like a few more picnic tables. I can't 100% remember right now.
All right, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, I agree with Maria in that, if we're taking these parks on as RDCK, then the cost of repair and all of that, in much the same way as they're enjoyed by the broader community, the cost of maintenance and repair, I think, should be shared by the broader community. So, yeah. That's it.
Okay, Brian?
Okay, Joe, through the chair to Joe, I'm a little confused. So if we took $55,000 out of the budget to figure out what it would be per $100,000 of assessed value, am I correct in assuming it would be 5.5 times 0.21? And then multiply by your own assessed value?
So you would do, so for every $10,000 of requisition, either reduced or increased
Yeah.
in S 222, it would cost the residential property owner 21 cents per 100,000 of their assessed, whatever their home is assessed at.
Okay.
So if
we're
you
not,
took
we're
a
not talking a huge sum of money.
$500,000, a $500,000 house would be $1.05 per $10,000 change.
Yeah,
The
So-
55,000 is by 50.
so what we're trying to look by doing that, by reducing that 55 is a symbolic thing, rather than just doing it and using the community grant money. And I'm only speaking for the City of Castlegar community grant money, because the three of us don't decide. There's 4 other people that are involved in the decision in Castlegar. I don't even see the value in doing this myself. We keep doing this, and I've seen it over the years. Oh, well, we can't raise taxes, so we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Eventually, we need to fund it, and if we fund it properly and not go crazy with just regular increases. Inflation, municipal inflation was almost 6%. We're kidding ourselves, and we're really not, in my opinion, giving the ratepayers the proper information, if they wanna have a facility, and they wanna have parks. And as far as Waterloo Eddy goes, it is a regional area, everybody uses it, that I know. So, I'm opposed to this.
So it's my turn, and I agree with Maria and Brian and Henny as well. Like, I'm really of the point, if the project or this, whatever is happening is part of Service S22 and S227, it should be funded by the Rec Commission users, which is Area I, J, and the City of Castlegar. Nickeling and diming, like Brian was saying, hasn't got us anywhere. You know, we save a little bit here, but then we have to add here, and it just doesn't make sense. We need to know the real value of the services that we're providing, and this is how we do it. You know, and yeah, we don't have, like, all our money is allocated for this year. So again, it's just like, you know, Area J, when you're gonna fund something, we can't fund it, and it just goes back and forth. And so I'm not in favor of using community, works funds to do this. I think we need to use and tax for the services as we've already agreed through for the plan last year. Yeah, so that's my thought. Andy?
Yeah, I'm going to say that, the nickels and dimes add up in a very big way. And what happens is that, we have, I know in area I and J in the city, we use community works funds and not taxation to pay for capital projects. And what ends up happening is that if there's anything we can do to reduce the burden on our ratepayers, even if it's symbolic, or it could be if we did this, $55,000, then maybe we could reconsider or renew a motion that I made at the last meeting to provide $25,000 to Area I amenities. And you find the money, so you don't tax extra. So the key thing is that we've always done this. Like I said, the first time was on the Rec Commission, the first year, Area I funded $50,000 a boiler replacement at the complex. And really, the city benefited 30,000 of that because that would have been the city's share of that cost if it was a grant. So the key thing is that, can I make my motion now?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so basically, the motion is, and Jenna, is Jenna recording today? Is she the secretary?
No, Pearl is.
Pearl is, okay. So Pearl, it's the same motion as, same wording as last year, except the amount changes. So this is, it's 6.1, the first motion that I did last meeting. And the motion is that Castlegar areas I and J, $55,000 in community works or other grant or funding sources to be jointly contributed. It's not just community works funds, it's other grant sources. So other grant or funding sources to be jointly contributed by the city of Castlegar, electoral area I and electoral area J in a percentage proportionate to the rates of taxation in service number S222, enabling bylaws to help reduce the taxation impact on our ratepayers and to reduce borrowing for 2024 capital projects. And that amount is $55,000 instead of $375,000. So, and that's to pay for these capital projects. So Pearl, is that clear what the motion is?
Would you be able to send that in an email?
It's in the minute.
Yeah, it's in the minute, he's
It's in the
just
minute.
changed.
He's
I just
changed.
changed the amount.
From that 6.1, right?
Yep.
6.1, you just changed it from 375 in community works to 55,000, right?
Yeah,
That's correct. Yeah, that's the only change.
Okay,
And can I speak to it now?
would you like a seconder maybe?
I'll second.
That would be awesome if somebody would do that, yeah.
Yeah, Henny has second.
And, yeah, thank you, Chair. So, and basically what this does is it avoids the, you know, like one area saying, I'll pay for all of this, and if it's my area or another area. And there's some really big stuff coming up, like the Glade Regional Park has been costed now. And the amount in the budget for Glade Regional Park is half the cost. So where's the other half coming from? There's no way we're gonna go to ratepayers to be asking for another 125 or another 130,000 for Glade Regional Park, because the costing came in at $250,000, not at 130. And we just got that. Commission hasn't even seen it. So basically, guess where that money's coming from? Area I grant. Not coming from the Commission. That project's gonna go ahead, and Area I will be contributing $125,000 of community works funds to help finish that project, to make that project work. So I think $55,000 is not a big deal. It's symbolic, but more than symbolic. It just shows that we will do what we can. We're not messing up our asset management plan. We're not doing anything like that. These are one-off things that are not messing up anything that the commission has passed. And I would respectfully suggest that this is something to be supported by the commission. So I'll stop there.
Questions? Comments? Anybody?
Let's vote.
Yeah, let's vote. On the new motion, all in favor? Opposed? It has failed, it's defeated.
Okay, I have one more motion then to make.
Go ahead, Andy, sorry, I was getting a cough candy.
Yeah, that's okay. So basically, the motion I want to make is actually bringing back the defeated motion in 6.2.
Okay,
And basically, a defeated motion under Robert's rules can be renewed at a future meeting. And basically, Robert's rules is wide open about bringing up a defeated motion at a future meeting, and I'll refer to that later if there's a seconder. So I want to bring back I want to renew the motion that was defeated in 6.2. And that is that the board approve the following amounts to be included in the 2024 and each year in the 2024-2028 financial plan. $25,000 service number S222 Arena Castlegar Complex, Castlegar areas I and J to support the social, cultural, and recreational activities offered at the following electoral area I venues or provided by the following area I-based community organizations to be allocated as follows. Pass Creek Community Hall, 2,500, Pass Creek Neighborhood Association, 2,500, Shore Acres Community Hall, 2,500, Kieran Galbraith Memorial Park, Shore Acres Beach, 2,500, Glade Recreation Commission Society, 2,500, Glade Community Hall, 2,500, Harry's Community Hall, 2,500, Berrigan Memorial Park, 2,500, Berrigan Cultural Center, $5,000. And if there's a seconder, I'd like to make a motion to renew. And if there's a seconder for that, I'd like to speak to the renewal piece.
There isn't a seconder, Andy.
There's
No
no
seconder.
no seconder on renewal?
No, no.
And you don't want to hear,
We've already
You don't wanna
voted on
It
it.
was defeated
Yeah, we
last
defeated
month.
it, it was voted on.
It
So
was
you have no
talked about.
seconder, so that fails. So what we'll do is, Joe, would you like to carry on?
Yeah,
This- If you wouldn't mind?
through the chair, is that, can you hear me? I'm trying to find the best way of being. to
Oh,
do
you know
this.
what, we'll turn our volume off. Sorry.
Is that, can you,
Mute us.
is it okay to, can you hear me?
Yeah, so we can start in S227 on page 3.
Okay. So what I'm just, in S227, the changes that could be considered by the commission. Unfortunately, we have to go back to 2023, and I, hesitate putting this, but it is true that we contemplated $174,000 of capital works, of which $174,000 would be funded by capital, from a capital reserve. We completed $138,704. We've only contributed $13,555 from reserve to capital, and there's a reason for this. So what that actually means is that the operational budget was operating below capacity. So the operating budget was able to fund part of that capital. So that difference, the 125, 149. So that part was essentially funded by the operational piece. In regional district, usually the rule of thumb is that we only, if we have reserves contributing to a project, we only contribute the amount from reserves that keeps the service from going into deficit. And so in this case, that's 13,555. What that does do in this case, it kind of undervalues that the operations were actually operating at $125,000 net less. So that piece could be under the direction of commission. We could contribute $125,000 more from capital reserves to the capital projects in S227, which would increase the surplus coming forward. That's not typically good practice, but it is an option, which I was asked to provide options. So that would be the first part in this section.
So Chair, I'll make that motion to reduce the requisition and service S227 by $125,049.
Through the chair, that wouldn't be what you would actually be directing staff to do. That would be a natural consequence of something. You would be directing staff to fund the capital works in 2023 with $125,149.
So moved.
There's a seconder discussion? Maria?
Yeah, I think it probably goes without saying that I'll say this is, I've been very clear, I'm not comfortable using operational surplus to fund what's gonna have to catch up at some point. So I would be against the motion just on that. I just think we need to catch up our operational side and stop using surplus, cause that's how we ended up here. So, yeah, that's where I land.
And that's my same. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
the key
I can't
thing,
see you.
oh, okay,
Just,
so
I
the
can't see your hand, sorry.
that's all right. The key thing here to understand is that we're looking at 47%, then we're going to 41% increase in 1 year in this service. And the key thing is that we're not messing up anything by doing this, because we've done this in the regional district in different services. So I am speak in support of this motion. We need to do everything we can to try and reduce this massive increase this year. We've never seen, I don't think there's, in the history of the RDCK that I've ever seen in any service, this type of an increase in 1 year. And it's not like it's street lights where you need to tax for $2,000 and maybe you didn't tax the year before. But what's happening here is that we need to do everything we can to offset taxation for our ratepayers, and they've been very, very clear. I've been contacted on this, and my ratepayers have made it very clear that I need to do everything possible to try and reduce taxation because we had a huge tax increase last year. And the key thing is that here we go again, and we're still not impacting our plan. So I'm just requesting the commission please support this.
Through the chair, there was
Sorry, Joe,
one piece of information I just want to make sure I missed one line in the report that might be important. So just again, this would push the issue to 2025, but it would also result in a review of the capital plan for 2025. Wouldn't impact the 2024 capital plan, but it could possibly impact the 2025 capital plan. Just to be aware.
So, my thoughts on that, we're just pushing down the can to another year, we're gonna have to make up. And it's kind of against what we all agreed to by not using operational surplus to pay for things. So I am against this, because it's not the way we're going. Yes, we have an increase this year, but it's what we planned last year and how we're gonna catch up, because we were so far behind that this is just the way we're going. Yeah.
Sooner or later, you gotta pay the piper, let's vote.
Okay, the motion on the table, all in favor? Opposed? Defeated.
Oh, sorry, through the chair.
Yeah.
Can I just get the motion repeated? I wasn't really clear what it
Yeah,
was.
Andy, do you remember what the motion was?
Yeah, I think Joe had the wording right on. It's very short. So Joe, if you could just repeat what you said.
The recreation that the commission would direct staff to increase the contribution from reserve to 2023 capital projects by $125,149
From service S227.
from S227.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, good, it was defeated. Next part, Joe, reduce plan service levels.
So we looked at what would happen if we reduced planned service levels. So the first option that we evaluated was a fitness center reduction. So this would reduce planned coverage by about 14 hours per week. So our full open coverage would be 84 hours. This was an increase in the level of service. We would reduce the open coverage to 70 hours per week from March to December. The potential employee cost savings would be $22,000 over that period of time. This is still a service level increase over pre-pandemic. Reduces taxation in the service by about 2.56%. Con is that we would continue to have some unsupervised time in the fitness center.
I have no choice but to move this.
Seconded.
Yeah. Discussion,
But can we
What was the-
talk about all of these as a group? Cause there's two options under aquatics. Sorry, Pearl,
Oh,
he
that's okay.
moved the fitness reduction at the second bullet under reduced planned services levels in the aquatic and fitness center.
just the fitness sentence reduction by 14 hours
Yeah.
per week, from 84 to 70 hours.
Before the second.
This woman will leave me alone.
So it's been second, so we'll have discussion.
Yeah,
Oh.
now
Because I
I'm
think
just,
it's two
I'm just
things.
wondering if we can talk about all of it, cause it seems to me that there are two options under aquatic, or do we vote for them separately? I don't know.
Well, I think one has to do with fitness and the other is
Yeah,
aquatic,
I
right?
get
So we have
that.
a decision to make on the fitness, because that's an option, reduce taxation. And then aquatic, there's two.
There's two different options,
Yeah.
and I feel strongly, of course,
Yeah.
about one over the other.
So what's the discussion or thoughts on the fitness reduction option? Any thoughts?
I'm okay with it, only because it's an increase from pre-pandemic to now. I'm okay with that, I don't know.
Maria?
Is the only reduction, to Joe, is the only reduction you're proposing here, just some unsupervised time in the fitness center, or is there other reductions like other impacts? Like you won't have as many fitness classes, or you won't have what is the actual reduction? Is it just not having supervised time?
Through the chair, it should not impact class levels for the fitness for fitness. It is just that we're not increasing our staffing to what we were planning in previous discussions.
Supplemental?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I land because we've spent a year complaining to you guys that the service levels need to get higher and better, and so then to tie your hands and not give you the resources to do what we've asked you to do, that's why I wrestle with this. Because we complained about fitness center and the complaints that we get, and you can't fix that without someone being in there to fix that. So I don't know. I'm interested to hear where the other couple.
Yeah, Brian, and then I just have
Well,
some questions.
The way I look at it is if we reduce the hours, we're just driving people downtown to go to the private gym. And yet, say if you have somebody who works out twice a week, just paying the drop-in fee, because I don't know what past fees are. And you lose 30 people going to the fitness center, that's $20,000 in revenue. So I'm opposed, if we're trying to grow the business, and then you want to reduce hours, you're not growing the business. We're maintaining, and we're gonna do, potentially less. Yes, there is gonna be some unsupervised time, but I think there's some ways around that by the staff that is working, even if it's just the lifeguards. And I know we don't talk about operational, this is a hypothetical. Lifeguards, when they're going for their break, walk through the fitness room, a 2-minute walk, you know, and it would take a minute to walk into the fitness room, it just provides a presence. Trail does that, at least I used to when I worked out there. I'm opposed to any reduction in service out of a business that is failing. In many ways.
Through the chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
To Brian. Yeah, this isn't proposing a reduction in hours of the fitness center. It's proposing that it wouldn't be supervised during that time.
Okay, well then there's ways that you can get a presence in there. Maybe not full-time, but even just having staff walk through on their way to breaks makes a difference. I don't think that's insurmountable. And again, I know we're trying to reduce everything, but I think we need to keep moving forward if we wanna drive the business. And I know that labor's the easiest way to cut it, but it's not always the best way to do it.
Okay, Andy? Is that your hand up, Andy?
It's Craig.
Chair, no, through
Oh, great.
to, yeah, thanks, Chair, through to Commissioner Bogle. Yeah, exactly what Joe said, we're not reducing service, and the intent was to go from, I think we were covering the fitness center about, if it was open for 80 hours a week, we were covering about half of that in the past, and so this year, we're up to about 65 hours a week out of the 84 that it's open. And to your point, absolutely, we can work with those 65 hours and put the staff in on the busy times. And there are some significantly busier times than in the past, which is good news. But there are strategies, as you said, to alleviate that and provide still that customer service for when there is no staff scheduled.
Thanks, Craig.
Can we go?
Yeah, I just, so if I recall, Craig had a report that people were complaining because people weren't obeying the rules, if you want, of the, fitness center. So by reducing the coverage, do you think, or, you know, like Brian was saying, coming up some creative with other people working or whatever, do you think this plan would work and that people would be happy with it? That somebody's not there checking and making sure people are following the rules?
Through the chair, I talked to the manager this morning about the hours of coverage, and right now, as I said, we're at 66 out of 84, and the intention is to expand to 84. And the feedback we're getting right now is that there are times when the fitness center is very busy. In fact, it's so busy that we're looking at restricting access at, I think it's 50 people. That might be a little high. So we can work with the busy times, and we can plan staffing and schedule staffing to the busy times so that when there's 5 or 6 people in the gym, we can cycle through an off staff just on a rotation. So it is currently doable at 66 hours a week. And so this $22,000 that Joe recommends or is saying as an option is feasible for this year, and we can analyze and provide feedback to the commission in future about whether or not we need to increase that.
Okay.
So Chair, can I speak on this?
Yeah, that's your hand, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting a little frustrated here because staff is saying this is doable. Commissioner Bogle said, well, isn't there a way of like adjusting staff to make sure there's coverage? And I hope that the commissioners are able to vote for some tax reduction, however nominal it is, when staff is supporting and made it very clear that this doesn't affect the operations of the fitness center. And it's 2.56%, so it's something that we have. So I really am getting really frustrated with this process. I'm actually just ready to log off this meeting because you don't want to do this, then might as well increase taxation by 100%. Let's go for it.
Well, let's not threaten each other, but.
It's not a threat, but I mean, it's like, let's be reasonable.
We're going on to Henny now.
So just from what Craig said, even the 70 hours, which is a reduction from the plan, is an increase to what's currently happening.
Mhm.
So I support it and I say we should vote.
Yeah, that's like, I was gonna say the same thing as you.
Yeah,
Like, it's an increase from what we have now, so it's something. And like you said, Craig's agreed to come back to us if we need more hours, so that's a good thing too. So I'm gonna call the vote on this for reduction of service there.
okay.
All in favor?
Through the chair, can I just confirm that the motion is?
The fitness reduction, reduced plan coverage by 14 hours per week. Right here, this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
now option 1 and 2 aquatics. Joel?
So Chair, did that pass or?
Yes, it did, yeah, it was unanimous, yeah,
Okay, thank you, everybody.
yeah.
I move option 2.
Okay, so Joe, do you wanna go through the 2 options and then?
Yep.
Henny's gonna.
Yeah, through
Yeah.
the
go ahead.
chair. And Sue, please just let me know if my audio, I keep getting messages on my computer that my internet connection sucks, so just let me know.
So, turn.
Yeah.
There's two options for the aquatic piece to consider. It's do not increase our hours. So this one is actually service related. So of course, unlike the fitness center, we must have lifeguards if we're open. So this is about actual hours of availability to the public. So option 1 was do not increase the hours of operation, currently at about 70 hours per week to 75.5. So there's a potential cost saving here of about $20,000 of employee costs. And that would reduce taxation by about 2.32%. This is a reduction to the expected service level is the con. So that would be the entire year. So we wouldn't change our operating hours for the entire year from what they are at the moment. Option 2 is increase the hours of operation as of July 1st, 2024, potential saving of about $10,000. This reduces taxation by about 1.16%, and this is a reduction to expected service levels. And if neither of these options were chosen, this is not, I am just trying to give you a little bit of the full picture. We should be able to very quickly ramp up operations to 75.5 hours. We're at a little bit, we're at a point where we could definitely be considering that.
I don't get it.
Yeah, just one second, Marie, Joe, Henny doesn't get it, can you re-explain option 2 again?
No,
Or, okay,
so if we don't do either one of these, we're gonna be ramping up to 75.5, which is option 1, which is the biggest decrease.
No.
go ahead, Maria.
Sorry, Joe, you can tell me if I'm wrong. What he's saying, if we don't pick either of these options, as soon as we approve this, they're gonna ramp up to 75, which is what they're planning on doing. If we approve one of these, they won't. That's what he's saying. So he's saying like right away they can up the service level if we approve this. But if we don't approve it, then they won't be upping the service level.
Okay, I don't like either one then.
So that's what he was saying, is that these options would decrease what their plan is right now. Their plan is right now to up it to 75 hours.
Okay.
That was gonna be my question, is what are those hours that you're hoping to up? Is it class time, is it public swim time, like what are the hours that you're looking at?
Is this up to pre-pandemic levels?
Yeah, what are those?
Yeah, I'll let Craig will give you more details.
Through the chair, the actual schedule we haven't landed there. Certainly we know where there's opportunities to provide pre-pandemic levels, especially with mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and even expanded weekend schedule. So we'll look at strategic hours, trying to maintain a sustainable schedule where we're currently at, and just adding to the more strategic location. But we also have to have a conversation with Tricia and her team about the best opportunities. But I mean, ultimately it is to expand to 75.5 hours per week. And as the options state, the one option is to go July 1st. So delay that expansion until July 1st, or the other option is not to expand and keep it at 70 hours. But we are almost ready to go to 75.5 hours as we speak.
So
Chair, I'll move up.
Yeah, I got you right, yeah. Andy, go ahead, and then Maria.
Yeah, I'd like to move option 2, please.
Maria's the seconding it.
Yeah, Chair, can I open?
Yeah, you go ahead, and then Maria, then Henry.
Yeah, what is really sad is that we have been working with Joe and Trish on something that's going to impact budgets, going to go to all rec, and we identified very clearly that we need to increase revenue. Impacting service levels is the last thing to do. I completely agree with Brian. You need to provide more availability. And that's why I have really worked hard moving motions and getting a little bit of money and trying to get a 9.48% reduction by contributing $55,000 of community works funds, and then not impacting operations in any way. And unfortunately, we are just left with, now it is nickel and diming, because had we passed the 9.48% and we just passed 2.56%, and now if we pass another 1.16%, guess what? We cut the budget by 12%. That's not nickels and dimes. That's 12.8%. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You piece the nickels and dimes and you come up with real dollars. So a 12% cut in the requisition is not chicken feed. So unfortunately, I don't want to do this, but I'm moving this because otherwise we're going to have no cuts to our requisition. So reluctantly, I speak in favor of this motion.
Okay, we'll go on to Maria, then Henny.
Yeah, can I ask a clarity question to Joe or to Craig? Like, we hear these numbers of like the budget being 49% increase, but then when I look at our actual RDCK budgets, like City of Castlegar percentage change from previous years, only 11%. And overall, I think was about 11% too. So how are we getting?
10.88.
So I'm just wondering why, that's overall the whole thing, which includes the rec side. So it can't be going up 49%, otherwise we have massive savings somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Like something's not matching from the numbers that we keep on getting and what's in the full budget for the RDCK. Why?
Yeah, through the chair, it's a great question, Maria. That's because we look at it in pieces of the pie. So it's just that this piece of the pie is going up that much. So it doesn't take into account that another service may not be experiencing any increase, just due to their operational circumstance. So it's that number about the requisition isn't about the overall requisition. It's just about the requisition as it relates to that particular service.
Okay, I follow up. I'm just trying to understand because I'm looking and none of our rates have gone down from last year. So all of them have had an increase in the full RDCK budget. So it doesn't make sense that our percentage change, I know there's new assessment, I understand that changes your requisition, but then that means that we're not looking at real numbers when we say it's 40-something% increase in rec, because I'm looking at those numbers from last year to this year, and when I do those percentages, it's not matching what's in the RDCK full budget and what numbers you're giving us, Joe. And so I'm just trying to understand where we're actually at. Like last year, our whole percentage was 22, this year it's only 11. and I think area I is the same, so I'm trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
So Chair,
Through the
can
chair.
I speak?
Just
Can I speak to this?
let Joe speak and then, and Henny and then you.
And then I do have a question
Oh,
on the
yeah,
actual
yeah,
motion,
so-
I just wanted this clarity before I went
Okay.
to the question on the motion.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
So
Then
through
we're-
the chair, Maria, just so that I'm clear what you're looking at. Are you looking at how much the rate per thousand has changed compared to what we're saying the requisition has changed?
No. So Chair, can I speak to clarify this? Because I've been doing this for a long time as an elected official.
Sure, quickly, yeah.
Yeah, the bottom line is that the overall taxation increase proposed, as was in the Castlegar News story that came out today, for Area I is 12.8%. That's the overall. And basically, when I look at all the services in Area I, for example, there's 18 services. There is nothing there's one that has dropped, GIS services. So what we have to do, what we as rural elected officials have to do, is we have to go through every single service and find savings to effect an overall savings in our taxation. So if I can get a 12.8%, or if I can get a 10% reduction in service S227 and then a 2% somewhere else and on and on and on, that's the work that we are tasked to do as.
That wasn't any,
No, so
sorry,
that,
Andy, that wasn't any clarity for me. I understand what you're saying. I know how it works. I'm just saying the numbers that Joe is giving for the rec side don't seem to be matching the percentages that I'm seeing there, but that's okay, it doesn't matter.
so the
On
question,
to motion, my question on the motion, which is, I'm not in favor of either strictly around, we've been talking about getting service levels back up. And as long as, the only thing that would change my mind is if you can say that you don't have enough lifeguards to do it, and you know you're not going to. But if you're gonna say, no, we've got enough staff now to do this, then I'd be in favor of let's just go with the plan. Do we know, is that you, Tricia, that would know that, or is that Joe
Craig?
or it's Craig?
yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Through the chair, the conversation we've had with the team at the complex is that availability has increased. We have more staff willing to work more hours and certainly more staff to work after school and on weekends. And so we will deliberately and intentionally increase to 75 and a half hours as soon as we can make it happen.
Thank you.
Okay, Henny and then Andy.
Okay, I speak against the motion. The pandemic hit 4 years ago, right? Because I've got pandemic math brain and somehow I lose entire years in my calculations. So it's been 4 years, it's been a long learning experience. Other things opened up completely, but not aquatics because we couldn't get enough lifeguards. Had we had those lifeguards sooner, we probably wouldn't even be looking at this. I think that pool users in Castlegar have waited long enough, and that they shouldn't have to wait any longer to get back to full service. So for that reason, I'm against it.
Okay, Andy?
I think the discussion we've had our discussion and all the question.
Well, I just have some thoughts too. Is, we've been training all these people, asking people to come and be trainers for the pool. We're getting them now, so we should be giving them the hours. And I know the pool, lots of times on weekend, it's full, people from trail come, and I think more hours, the better. So I'm in favor. So I'm gonna call the question. All in favor of the motion on the table for option 2?
I'm in favor.
Andy, opposed? Motion defeated. So none of those options are. Okay.
The fitness option didn't pass.
Sorry? It did not, no options passed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
The gym one.
not in the
Yeah,
aquatics,
but not
but
the
the fitness.
Not
Yeah,
aquatic.
just
Yeah,
the
so we-
fitness ones.
You need
yeah,
we're
we
just
saved
trying to make sure.
We cut 2.56% in service S227.
Yeah, only the fitness one, but
We're down at 38%, I think, instead of 41.
yeah.
Something like that, Joe?
All right,
Anything else on that, Joe, on your report?
No, through the chair, only if there's any other questions, but that is the substance of the report.
okay.
So I'm gonna move the motion that the commission, is that the right one? That is right.
The commission,
Yeah, the commission
Draft.
dated February 3rd. Is that the right one?
with the changes, I would say.
With the
Yeah, 'cause this
changes.
is,
I think there was just the one change.
Yeah.
Through the chair, you
Yes.
just need to direct staff as we've done throughout the process. You don't need to do anything with the budget. That will be what we'll enter in for consideration at the, because the board actually passes the budget anyways. So you
Okay,
do
so-
your-
Yeah, we're just receiving your report from March 5th, yeah, so we've directed you.
Sorry to interrupt, but do we need to include the motions that were defeated?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or when
you
that
do,
was,
yeah,
that was adopted? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, now, public time. We have some
So
guests.
Chair, before
Yeah,
we go
sorry.
to public, so a question to staff. So, what the changes we made today, that 2.56% reduction, that won't make the budget calculations and what will be presented to the public on March 11th, correct?
Yes, sorry, and that's a great point, Director Davidoff, you're absolutely correct. The change, what is presented to the public on Monday, I believe, for Castlegar IJ, will be what was at the board after the special board meeting in February.
Okay, thank you.
But somebody will talk about that,
Yeah.
I'm assuming?
Not necessarily.
No,
Yeah, through the chair, I'll make Yev aware of the change.
okay, perfect. So this time we have question period, we have a couple of,
Area I, that's raised their hand.
do you have another area I question,
No,
Andy?
no, sorry, area I, in public time has raised.
It's not me.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Actual.
So this time, public time, you have 2 minutes to state your question. And, go ahead, somebody that's area I with a hand up, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you state your name and where you're from?
Sure. My name is Bill. I'm from Area I.
Okay,
My question is, and I have a couple of them that are all going to join together. But the first one is, it's my understanding that even against the public's wishes, the destruction and sale of the Pioneer Arena are going forward, correct?
Maria, do you want to speak on behalf of the city?
Sure, I can try and speak on that. I wouldn't say it's against the public's wishes, that's not how I present it. We have documentation all the way back to 2010, that is what the public consultation process a couple times have directed. And so yes, that is the plan. The only, as of right now, this is the last season, but that is still a bit in flux, but yes, it is coming down.
Okay, well, I certainly don't want to argue that point, and I will trust you on that. My question would be,
Can I just give you a supplemental? Sorry, I just thought if you hadn't watched it, there was a really good meeting from the city side. It was our council meeting on February, I want to say the second one in February. And we had a really lengthy discussion and a really lengthy presentation, if you weren't there, on how we got to this point all the way back. And so it's actually worth going, and you can see the February 20th. If you go on our website, city's website, you'll be able to see that, the regular meeting, and there's a full presentation and a lot of discussion, so it gives you all the background info.
I will certainly look into that. Thank you. I've just seen a lot of people on the streets asking for signatures on petitions and standing in front of the arena demonstrating. which is what spawned my initial question. But to get to the meat of my question, I'm wondering what is going to happen with the proceeds of the sale of the operating costs, of the maintenance costs, and possibly any architectural recovery or sale of equipment from that? Can this money not be used towards fixing the roof, lowering the taxes, providing some services?
You try and answer, you want Joe to answer?
Joe, do you wanna answer that, or Craig, you can answer that?
Through the chair, if when the Pioneer is decommissioned, we do intend to salvage some equipment. We don't know what the value of that is currently, but inside of the operating budget for S222, we've already considered that, and the expenses for the second half of the season, including the staffing and utilities, and even the mechanical contracted services have been removed from the budget.
I didn't see any numbers or forecasting in the budget for that. Did I miss that somewhere?
Through the chair.
Sorry, so-
Yeah, so go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, two pieces, because we don't know what those items might sell for. We have not forecasted that sale. And through the reimagining process, we're not sure if we would be selling that or relocating it. So it's a little bit of a decision a little bit down the line. The other piece I think you were talking about was the sale of the property. The property is not the regional district's, so that's not our property to sell.
Yeah, I'll answer that for you, Bill. The property is not being sold. Even for the project on the city side that's being proposed, it's not being sold. It'll stay in the city's, repertoire land.
Inventory.
Yeah, the city-
Inventory, that's a better word, inventory. I'm like, there's a word for it.
The city will enter into a lease agreement. And so we did actually in the budget show a decrease in the revenue as well, because the Pioneer wouldn't be operational, so there is a decrease on that. And as Craig said, I think we put in the budget $100,000 for demolition and things of that nature. Does that
Right.
answer?
You answered most of my questions. What about operational costs and maintenance? Does that factor in?
So
Yeah,
we-
through the chair,
Yeah.
we've cut the utilities and the staff costs in half for the Pioneer for 2024.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions online from phone number that ends in 116 or somebody that says observer? It looks like not. So at this time, I'm gonna call adjournment. So moved. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe night.
Bye, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. We'll see you.
Night.
Bye, Joe. Bye, Craig.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.